Welcome back to Mostly Growth, the #1 podcast in product monetization. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Very well. How are you, Kyle?
Well, CJ, you're happy because of the Patriots.
I don't know if you heard, we're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
I'm going to be as far away as possible. I'm going to be in St. Lucia during the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, wow.
No Patriots talk in St. Lucia. So what we wanted to talk about today, CJ, is free, the economics of free. Now, my dad had a saying growing up, if it's not free, it's not happening.
My dad had a saying, Kyle, if it's not free, it's not for me.
That's catchier, actually. What's the craziest thing you guys have done just to get something for free?
Ben, I'll go first. I've acted a fool at Celtics games to try to get one of those like quadruple XL poor-fitting shirts out of the t-shirt cannon. And you get it. You're like, this shirt sucks.
You've like knocked down small children to try to grab a t-shirt.
It's not free technically, but I did the Buffalo Wild Wings Spicy Wing Challenge to get a t-shirt. I didn't finish in time, but they still gave me the t-shirt because they felt bad. So,
well, you paid for it in heartburn. How many did you have to eat?
I think it was 8 of their spiciest wings. And I think I got to like 6 or 7. Sorry, I did the Gen Z thing. I truly was around that number.
It took me a second there.
Well, my dad, growing up, I was one of 4 kids, and he would order 1 soda for the table at a place that had free refills. So he'd get 1 soda, 4 straws. We all shared.
I was at home and I borrowed my dad's car to like go get Dunkin' Donuts or something. And I opened the glove compartment box and there are all these packets of salt. And I took a picture and text him like, WTF, what's with all the salt? He's like, well, sometimes, you'll get your food and like they didn't include any salt. So I bring it with me just in case.
That's a step too far. In Boston, like you have to pay for parking everywhere. And of course, there's like a meter. You pay for parking, you pay for the credit card fee if you want to pay with your credit card and all of that. So I like go out of my way to find a free spot or find a spot where I might get a ticket.
There is some game theory there, though, because something about paying for parking, say it's $25 versus getting a $25 ticket, getting like the legally in your record ticket, it's the same amount, but I think it weighs different on your mind. And so I have friends who's like, I'm gonna park in the crosswalk, like if I do this 3 times correctly and avoid parking, like I chalk it up to a 0 on the board to a win.
From Mostly Media, it's Mostly Growth. Go-to-market strategist Kyle Poyar and CFO CJ Gustafson break down how modern companies make money, covering pricing, monetization, and benchmarks in ways that make you better at your job. Tactics and playbooks for finance, product, and sales operators looking to be the CEO of their role. This is Mostly Growth.
We want to talk about sort of free and behaviors around free and the crazy things we do for free stuff. And I think for me, this comes back to, back when I was even an econ major in college, I was joined econ and environmental studies, which is an odd combination. But back then, there was this kind of concept of the penny gap, where if you think about price elasticity, like we all think about that like supply and demand curve from Econ 101, and it looks like super linear, like just a straight line. But the reality is the curve is crazy disjointed, and people are way more willing to buy something or use something if it's free than even if it just costs 1 cent. So like the supply and demand curve is so whacked out because people do crazy stuff for free products.
You're an econ and environmental studies major. Was your goal to like run like a paper mill in Alaska or something?
But that's I could get all the whitefish I want there. I don't know what I was thinking. It was like one of those things like the mullet of majors, like business in the front, party in the back. Like I wanted the environmental studies major, but I also wanted to be able to get a job.
I read all the deep research you sent over. That was some thick stuff, Kyle. And it's crazy how people will think about something that costs 1 penny versus like $0 so much differently. Even though if you think about like the space on those in terms of like incremental cost is infinitesimal.
Yeah, like the price sensitivity between something costing $8.49 versus $8.48. Like there's no difference in who's buying it. But the difference between free and a penny, there's a huge difference in how many people buy it.
There was the example of the people who were booking a hotel, right?
There have been academic studies on hotel bookings. There have been academic studies on like just a ton of different kinds of products. The hotel booking side, even things like changing the price to say like it's a lower price per night or stay 2 nights, get a third night free. People are actually going to gravitate a lot more to like the third night free because they're like, oh, it's an expensive hotel and I'm getting a night for free. Like there's something psychologically about free stuff that this kind of phenomenon even works with like gift with purchase or promotions.
There's something totally psychological about it. And I think I fell for it because I was comparing the prices at this hotel in Aruba like 2 years ago. And I remember looking at it and I was pretty sure that if you buy 5 nights, Kyle, you get 2 nights free. I'm like, holy shit, 2 nights free. But then I looked at another site. It was basically the exact same total price for 7 nights. But I bought from the one that gave me the 2 nights free.
But it gets a $500 a night hotel, like fancy hotel. I'm
Yeah.
getting 2 nights free. It like sounds so much cooler.
It also looks better if it's a higher price per night on the 5 nights, right? Let's say it was $2,000 in total. All $2,000 are spread out over those 5 nights. I'm like, wow, I'm really getting value if those other 2 nights are free.
It's amazing, like the psychology around free. I'm even surprised more software products don't try to like free gifts, like gift with purchase types of things.
Yeah, I've been surprised that this hasn't totally taken hold in the B2B community. And maybe it's because it's harder to do with stuff that's above a certain sticker price. Like if you came to me and you're like, CJ, if you buy NetSuite, you can give your friend Kyle a free instance of NetSuite. You get one, you can give one to somebody else. It's not really the same as something where it's a B2C thing. Like you take an Uber and you can give a credit to your wife or something, you get a free ride.
You know, you buy Zoom subscription and you get a free X, like you get a free $20 gift card.
So not to bury the lead here, but based on classic economics, right? I suck at drawing the curves. I think I just don't draw the shapes well. Does free break the classic economical thinking? Does it live in like some fantasy land?
The supply and demand curve, you've got like price and quantity, right? And the idea is like as price goes down, the demand goes up. But it acts as if it's like a linear curve, right? We assume a price elasticity of roughly 1, or I guess it's -1, and that like each point along the curve is continuous. We know that that's not how real people make decisions. I think that there's a reason why people try to do magic price points, like go for $9 or $9.99 instead of like $10.34. But the biggest area that's like a discontinuous jump in the curve is free, because the difference between free and even a penny, it's a massive difference in terms of the quantity.
It's a step function if you were to graph it out.
Exactly. This isn't like new information. Tech companies have been trying all different flavors of like freemium, free trials, etc. for, decades now. We at OpenView had coined the term product-led growth in 2016, so 10 years ago, I guess now. But we coined it because it was a thing that existed in the world. There just wasn't a great name for it. Dropbox with their like free product. If you like referred Dropbox, you can get more storage. Like things like this have been around for 15 plus years in software.
I think for the benefit of listeners, this is a good place to just step back and define the difference between free trial.
So in the last 15 years, things have got a lot more complicated. So it maybe just a starting point, the delineation for me on a free trial is it's time limited. So you might get 7-day, 14-day, 30-day access, but like you can use the thing full access, but for a period of time. And then freemium is like you get a taste of the product. You can try part of it, but it's usually feature limited or usage limited. And so it's free forever, but just a taste of it, which is interesting for some companies because you can have a lot of free users that are just like light users, but they now are part of your community. They're sharing it with their friends. They're collaborating. And so you can get a lot more users potentially if you allow your product to be used kind of continuously for free.
And me being the CFO, the elephant in the room, I think in both those situations, Kyle, is in order to get a free trial, which is time limited, or a freemium version of the product, which has, some of the cool stuff, but not all of it, do you have to put a credit card down or not?
That is $1 million question, which we'll get into.
Hey, thanks for listening. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
If you run go-to-market, you already know the problem. Your go-to-market data is everywhere. Ads, CRMs, sales calls, marketing, spreadsheets, but you're still guessing what to do next. HockeyStack is the AI platform for modern go-to-market teams that collects all your customer data and unifies it into a single system of action. Then you deploy AI agents that prospect the right accounts, help reps close and upsell deals, improve forecast accuracy, and automate what's already working across sales and marketing. Instead of running 5-year-old processes manually, your go-to-market team finally has agents that understand your ICP, your funnel, and your buying motion, and they execute on it. That's why teams like RingCentral, Outreach, ActiveCampaign, and even Fortune 100 companies rely on HockeyStack to cut through the noise, eliminate wasted spend, and make better go-to-market decisions faster. That's HockeyStack, the AI platform that helps go-to-market teams make space to think and win. Here's a growth tax nobody talks about. Every new monetization model you ship creates a nightmare for your finance team. Add usage-based pricing? Now you're tracking consumption against commitments. Launch product bundles? That's multiple performance obligations per contract. Offer mid-cycle upgrades? Woo! Good luck reallocating revenue manually. But that's exactly where RightRev shines. RightRev is the revenue recognition engine built for companies that can't afford to let accounting slow down growth. When your RevRec is automated, your product team can ship new pricing without asking finance for permission. And your sales team can close creative deals without worrying about downstream chaos. To get up on my CFO soapbox for a sec, I love talking about creative pricing models, hybrid pricing, credits, tiered usage. But I've seen too many companies where the sales team is celebrating a huge quarter while finance is still trying to figure out how to recognize half of it. In a world where your pricing model might change 3 times next year, that flexibility is everything. If you want to scale your monetization without breaking your books, visit RightRev.com. That's RightRev.com, where modern monetization meets bulletproof accounting.
Here's a question. When was the last time you really had time to focus on growth and not chasing contract renewals, tracking shadow IT spend, or explaining rising software costs to the board? Yikes! The truth is, traditional spend management is broken. If you're still piecing together data from 5 different systems just to figure out what you're actually spending, while vendors keep on pushing those auto renewals and price hikes, my friend, I got a solution for you. That's where Tropic comes in. Tropic is an intelligent spend management solution that consolidates your spend data and processes into one unified offering, enabling insights and decisive action. It doesn't just show you where the problems are, it helps you solve them. From spotting hidden optimization opportunities like duplicative spend, to automating those painful procurement workflows, to giving you the best market data that turns every vendor negotiation in your favor. Tropic combines smart insights with real human expertise to keep you ahead of the curve. And I can say firsthand because I've used them for over 2 years. Their SaaS platform helps me with price checks. It helps me keep my calendar organized of when renewals are coming up and I can actually visualize it. And let me say, it saves me more than 10 hours a week on vendor management, and we've saved a ton on renewals. I'm walking into the boardroom with a lot more confidence. Isn't it time to turn your spend management into your competitive advantage? Visit tropicapp.io/mostlymetrics. That's tropicapp.io/mostlymetrics.
To your point, there's other actually like ways of doing something free. And so freemium and free trial are like the things that we normally go to. Other models out there that are, increasing in popularity or at least being talked about more. One is called a reverse trial. Have you heard of this?
No, what's that? Is that where like they show up at your house and start driving your car around?
So I think Elena Verna coined this term, or at least she put it on the map. The idea is you get a free trial of a product for a period of time. And then at the end of that time period, it downgrades to a free forever version. So it's like free trial going into freemium. And the first experience I had with this kind of product was actually Calendly, which was a former OpenView portfolio company. When you start using Calendly, you get a 14-day free trial of it. One of the things is you can do multiple event types. So you can send someone a 30-minute meeting link, 45-minute meeting link, hour-long meeting link, whatever you want. But at the end of those 14 days, you're told, hey, your free trial's over. You can keep using the product for free, but you can only use one active event type. That is often the straw that breaks the camel's back and makes you be like, all right, I'll take out my credit card and pay.
Me and Ben use Dropbox to house all the different recordings that we have, the clips, the transcripts, all that stuff. We upgraded from my personal account to a business account, and we got I think a 14-day free trial as part of that, because there's another tier that you can always get. What is it when it's gated by the amount of space, Kyle, that you can use? Because I think Airtable is another example. I think it's by the number of records that you're able to do under a certain type of trial.
I tend to lump that in with freemium because in theory, you can keep using the product for as long as you want, just up to a certain amount of usage. So a lot of these products, you get like additional usage every month. Well, the storage is, I guess, a little different because you don't like keep getting more storage. I guess you can just like delete stuff and have only so much storage in use at any point in time. But these usage limited products start to be a gray area. And I think that for some of these products, like the vibe coding apps out there, they're even giving you a daily usage limit. So that actually leads to like more conversions and faster conversions because you might hit the limit within a day, but also like keeps people coming back because they've got more free credits the next day.
Well, speaking about the free credits, Dropbox got really big off of the give to get model, where if you got someone else to sign up, they would give you like another gigabyte or something. There's another kid named CJ in my finance class, got me to sign up for. He got everyone he knew to sign up for. This kid Kyle had like 14 terabytes of free data.
Oh man, that was a great model. I mean, I think it's harder to do that now. Another model that's getting increasingly popular, I call it the ungated free product. And so by ungated, I mean you can land on the website and just immediately start using the product without even creating an account. And so you don't put your email in, you don't put a credit card in, you just start using the product from the website. So you've probably seen this with ChatGPT. ChatGPT wasn't always ungated. Like when it first launched, you had to create an account before you could use it. I don't know if you remember that.
Does Lovable do this today, Kyle, where you show up on the homepage, you don't have to sign in with your Gmail or give them your email. You can just type in like some random request, like build me this wild thing.
So Lovable is ungated. Rose, which is a next-gen spreadsheet, is ungated. There's a bunch of these products popping up. And I think what makes it interesting is like if you're trying to lower the barrier to get someone to use your product, like the lowest barrier is just putting a prompt box like on the website and say, hey, what do you want us to build? We'll start building it for you. You tend to drive a lot more people that land on your website actually do something. Like there's no friction. They don't have to give you their email. They don't have to create an account. They don't have to put in a credit card. They don't have to do anything but start using it. But the hack here is that if they want to save what they've done, that's when they have to create an account.
I think what's floating around in the back of all of this discussion, Kyle, is what's the trigger for you to either give up some sort of demographic information and create an official account or to pay for something? And to your point there, it seems like it's just, this is nuts. I can just jump in and try it. But the trigger there is if you make something that you enjoy, you're going to create an account.
I guess if you really valued the emails because you wanted to see who exactly was using your product, you can then remarket to them, send them emails. Like if that email capture was really important, you would want to gate it. But if just like getting your product in the hands of people to use it is important, like for a totally new product or a product that's like has this really cool aha moment, your goal is to just, hey, drive adoption. And if someone's serious, we'll be able to monetize them later. And if they're not serious, like it doesn't matter. Like we don't need to market to them.
I would love to know what the math is though, because there is a risk, right? That they don't save it down. You get no information. So you don't get a second at bat to try to wow them. What's the math on not gating it at all? And either they love it later on, it's a more dedicated user who's been in the workflow, seen value, which is the number one thing you want them to get. And then they create an account versus people just pass through and you get all these tire kickers. I don't know if at the end of the day, one ends up at bottom line on a P&L better than the other.
The way I think about it is that there's really two conversion steps. One is like what percentage of people that land on your website actually like create an account in the first place. And so for software companies, this can vary a lot from company to company, but it's often between like 5 and 10 or 5 to 15% of people that land on your website will create an account. And then the next thing is to think about like of the people that sign up, what percent have actually like done something meaningful in the product. And then you think about conversion comes after that because you almost always see someone that's had to do something with your product before they're going to start to pay for it. And for traditional freemium products, I can share the exact stats. For classic freemium products, it's about 9% of people that land on your website create an account. So pretty good, not perfect, but not too bad. Of those people, I found 60% of them or so tend to just abandon without doing anything. So they sign up and then they ghost you. So you have their email address, but you know, they're not really people that you could potentially convert. Of those, 9% that sign up, maybe 5 to 6% end up converting to paid. Meanwhile, on this ungated experience, you have fewer people signing up for an account. So you have 7% of the web traffic signs up for an account, but way more have tried it out. The 7% that have signed up, all of them have actually used the product. And so you end up driving a lot more overall usage, what I found is you have 8% free to paid conversion for these models on average. So significantly higher converting than classic freemium. And it ends up meaning there's like more paying customers for every 1,000 website visitors and an ungated product experience than a, email gated freemium experience.
Well, what strikes me is none of the numbers you're giving me are double digits.
There's a lot of leakage in a free funnel. Honestly, that is one of the most common mistakes I see with founders that are like, hey, we're going to accelerate growth. Let's like introduce a free offering. This is going to be great. And all of a sudden, like they're taking the traffic that they have and they're seeing huge drop-offs in the share that end up doing anything or pay. And the ones who do pay, they're often paying like a small amount of money on a credit card. And they go back and they're like, we're really under monetizing. You have to really drive a lot of volume for this model to work. And so if free products increase your volume of users through product virality, word of mouth, sharing, whatever, this can actually be a great acquisition play. But if it's just cannibalizing the volume you would have already had, this can end up being a huge miss in terms of the revenue impact.
That's wild. So let's say only 8% convert, right? If you improve that by 1%, that is more than a 1% change to your bottom line and to your business. It's nonlinear.
Classic freemium is like 5% conversion, right? I said 5.5%. So if you get that from 5.5% to 6.5%, that's like a 20% increase for 1 point.
Is it bad that I can only think about newsletters at this point and how many sign up for free? If I should put a free gate there and then how many actually end up as paid?
We both think about this too, right? So with newsletters, you can actually put an email gate and say, hey, you actually have to sign up to be a free subscriber to read the stuff at all. That's going to mean fewer people are reading the stuff, but a lot more people are actually going to be like a free subscriber if they do land on your page. And then there's the free to paid conversion of taking that group and seeing who ends up paying for your subscription. I actually saw you put a pretty aggressive email gate on your newsletter.
Yeah, man. I'm Terry Tate, office linebacker. Nothing's getting by this zone defense. When I moved over from Substack to Beehive, that was one of the big changes I made because with email, over 650,000 views per month. Like the website was going nuts, but I was seeing that like not a ton of people from Google were always converting in the way I wanted them to, at least to a free subscriber, right? And then eventually you can work on getting them to a paid subscriber, but they gotta at least start it free. So when I went over to Beehive, I said, you know what? If you want to read this from now on, I put a lot of work into it. I think there's value. It's gonna make you better at your job. All I'm asking for is your email here. I'm not asking you to pay me at all, at least not right now. And so I actually have gotten complaints from some people like, hey, this is kind of aggressive for you to post something on LinkedIn and draw a bunch of people over and then insist that I give you my email to see the benchmarks you're promising. It's a trade-off. And if you think the value is there, I don't know. That's what I decided to do.
See, I'm not going in that direction. I thought about it when I moved over to Beehive because like now I had the option, but I let people read the stuff thinking that, hey, it's going to make them more likely to share it with their coworkers. Like, I'd rather have them read it and then like opt into becoming a subscriber if they want, than like force them to and then have them unsubscribe later if they don't like it. The middle ground I'm trying to come to right now is to have an email pop up. So as someone gets halfway through reading a pop up, which is kind of annoying, but like you can X out of the pop up, but the pop up's just like, hey, add your email to keep reading.
So I did not allow them to exit out, which I personally would find annoying, but the results are working. I'm getting over 40 free subscribers a day from it.
Not too shabby. We've talked about all this data on freemium, free trials, and everything. I should probably share where it comes from, huh?
You didn't make all this up?
Could have just asked ChatGPT.
GPT, where'd this come from, Kyle?
So I ran a fresh conversion study with my friends at ChartMogul and Product Led. We surveyed a little over 200 software companies, almost all B2B in some form.
Okay.
And asked them about like, do they have a free trial, freemium model, reverse trial, and so on, and asked them a bunch of questions about free to paid conversion rates. And then we're just able to crunch the numbers from there.
Okay. And what stood out to you the most?
What do you think is the most popular free motion these days of the ones that we talked about?
I bet it's still the tried and true free trial, Kyle. People just love the classics. I don't know, man. I think people just overestimate how many AI companies out there are throwing a prompt in front of you and allowing you to go ham. I've personally, at companies, thought that free trial works better than freemium freemium doesn't drive the same FOMO. But please make me look very dumb as you pull this up.
I wish I could have made you look dumb. I think we do notice some of these like well-funded AI companies like an OpenAI with ChatGPT or like a Lovable that have these like pretty generous freemium versions. But the reality is that most companies have a free trial. So free trials are more than twice as popular as freemium. I think that they do a few things. One is that it's just more time limited. And so it kind of drives people to like shit or get off the pot. Like if you're serious about this product, you have a couple weeks to set this up. And freemium just forces people like not to take something super serious. They can set it up whenever they want. Like it doesn't drive the same behavior from users. Also with free trials, like you tend to give a free trial of a good, fully featured product. And what I often find is like many freemium products are a little bit shitty. Like you can't do a whole lot with them. And so the people they end up attracting are your low value users, your B2C users, the use cases that aren't serious. And so if I'm trying to attract like a real business, I'd rather give them the full version of the product and let them experience it. And then I can always extend the trial if I need to.
2 comments on freemium. The first one is I think that a lot of companies are actually really terrible at choosing what goes in the part you can use and the part that's gated. And there's this whole analysis paralysis that happens, right? You've probably seen people just like, I don't know what to put here versus what to put there. And the second thing is, I think it actually like hampers the person from getting the full experience that you want them to get to say this is worth paying for. Because like you alluded to, Kyle, you're like, we're going to give you half as kick-ass of a product. And then hopefully you'll be like, but there's more. And you'll take that leap of faith and pay for it.
Exactly. But you're like, hey, I have no idea if they actually have these other features that I need and if they're good or not, right? And so you just kind of sign up for the free thing because it's free when you don't really care that much about it. Yeah, I think you're spot on. In my experience, many early stage companies are extremely generous with the free tier. Like the first thing they've built is free, and then they build things they monetize later, only to realize the first things they built were the things people valued the most. And then the things that they built later were things that people maybe didn't value as much. So they start really generous on free. They have a hard time converting people from free to paid. And then they start, shrinkflationing the freemium tier. And so you have all these things go away. And then now all of a sudden the freemium tier is basically useless. And it's somewhere like, it's kind of a Frankenstein thing where the freemium tier doesn't really do anything for anyone, and they might as well just have moved to a free trial.
Now, just to steelman my original argument here, I do think that freemium works if you make the gating feature going from single player mode to multiplayer mode. And so an example there is I was joking with Rama, Katkar, who's the CFO of Notion, who I had on Run the Numbers. I used Notion for over 3 years as a free user, because I had all my notes in there from a personal angle and from a business angle. But then when we were adding people to the mostly media team and Ben wanted to put his production schedule in there, that was the trigger for me to actually start paying for all the users. Now I think we pay $80 a month for it.
See, I think freemium does well when the value increases over time. And I guess like Notion with documents is like that. Like for some of these products, it just takes you more than say 7 days or 14 days to fully experience it. Like Slack, for example, you might not like fully value Slack until you've used it for an extended period of time. You have all your message history there. You have everyone using it as a team. And so some of these products, if they get more valuable the longer you've used it, and if there are network effects where you want to invite more people to see more value, freemium can really like drive that growth loop where the value kind of compounds more and more as time elapses.
So Kyle, make me smarter here. I have 2 questions, but the first is on guidance for people on a free trial trying to decide how long should this be? 7 days versus 60 days versus 90 days. The second topic I want to get your guidance on is how to figure out which features, if you say freemium is the right way to do this, how do you decide what should be in there versus shouldn't?
When in doubt, go with 14 days. 62% of the free trials in our survey were 14 days. That's way more popular than the other common choices. So the other most common were 7 days or 30 days. Both had 14% frequency. So 14-day was 4x more popular than either of those, that's probably about the right length, right? Like someone should be able to set up your product and see value probably within the first week. And then the second week is, they get hooked, maybe giving time for a sales call. And, that's when the trial expires. Many used to do 30-day and then had moved to 14-day and didn't see conversion dip at all. Actually, many saw conversion go up. It compressed the experience cycle. So when in doubt, go with 14 days. I think it does matter a little bit based on just like how long it takes for someone to fully get set up and running with your product. So if it's a product that requires multiple users in a company to have access, or like there's a data lag or some integrations that have to happen, that's when you might look at 30 days.
Okay.
On the freemium kind of features and tier, one of my old team members at OpenView, a guy named Jeff, had this framework that's really stuck with me. What are the known needs that the user has when they come in, and what are their unknown needs? So when they search for your product, they have certain things in mind that they know that they need to do. And that needs to be part of the free experience because that's the promise that they're being offered. So at like a Calendly, for example, people know they want a scheduling link. And so your free tier needs to include the ability to have a scheduling link. They don't know they need their meetings integrated with their CRM, or they need like advanced round robin scheduling with multiple team members. Once they start to experience it with the product as they're more serious, they start valuing overtime.
I love that because you need to fulfill the original need that the person had for showing up in the first place. And then you're like, well, if I'm successful at that and I'm betting on my product doing what I said it did, then there are going to be other opportunities down the road.
The next is the distribution of free to paid conversion rates. So I told you before, freemium companies see about 5% conversion. Free trial companies see a bit higher. The free to paid conversion rate on the x-axis and the percentage of companies that fall into each bucket on the y-axis. And so what you see here is the median across the entire data set is 8% free to paid conversion. But it's actually like statistically extremely rare to have a normal 8% free to paid conversion. Like a lot of companies see 1 or 2% conversion. That's about a quarter of companies in the study. And then another quarter of the companies see more than 20% free to paid conversion. So like we're not talking about like this change being a couple percentage points. Like that is a 10x difference in free to paid conversion between the best companies and the worst companies.
Yeah, I want to be in that 3% on the right that has a 22 to 25% free to conversion rate. My goodness, they're printing money.
This is one where the differences are actually quite extreme. And if you just think in terms of averages, you can totally miscalculate the opportunity here and how well you're doing.
I get a foolish question. Is it possible to have too high of a conversion rate from free to paid, which would indicate that your pricing actually may be too low?
Potentially. I think that too high of conversion, I probably wouldn't be because the price is too low in my mind. Well, it might be, but it would often be because you didn't offer really any value for free. And so someone like had to pay in order to get it. It's that, or you just have really bad top of funnel acquisition. And so you're only getting people to sign up if they're like really serious and they've kind of already decided to buy your product. We talked a little bit earlier about whether you require a credit card or not. For freemium products, they almost never require a credit card. I mean, that kind of defeats the point of freemium. But for free trial products, requiring credit card is a lot more common. So 20% of free trial products require a credit card up front to unlock the trial. 80% don't. But of the companies that require a credit card, they see dramatically higher conversion. It's like 30% free to paid conversion on these products versus like 5 to 6% on regular free trial products. The thing is, a lot of that conversion is people that forget to cancel. And so they put in their credit card, they tried this thing, they forgot about it, and now all of a sudden they have this credit card transaction that shows up. You see more refund requests, higher churn, especially like month 1 through 3 or 4. In these cases, like free to pay conversion can be too high because you're converting people that didn't actually want to buy your product.
So I have been very patiently waiting here for over 30 minutes for you to lead me to this point, Kyle. CFO here, you should always ask for a credit card if it's a free trial, because at the end of the day, isn't the whole point of this to make money? It's not just to have more free users, it's to have more paying users.
You have to think about the LTV of those users, right? And so more paying users who stick around and keep paying you month after month.
You lose the fringe ones who like forgot that, the Planet Fitness model, we make money when you don't show up. If you net it out, I bet that company in aggregate percentage might be a little bit higher on churn, but they probably made more money.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Planet Fitness does what they do, right? Let me show you the TLDR. And so when I mapped out both the sign up rate, right, and the conversion rate, what happens if you get 1,000 people landing on your website? If you have an average freemium product, free trial product, of those 1,000 website visitors, freemium products get 5 paying customers. So like 0.5% total conversion.
Yikes.
Ungated freemium products get 5.6 paying customers on average.
26 times more?
10% better overall.
Oh.
Free trial products actually do worse than freemium on average. So they only see 3.6 paying customers because while they have a higher free to paid conversion rate, they actually get fewer signups to their website in the first place. The average free trial does worse, but the credit card required trial gets 10.5 paying customers. So twice as high as freemium and 3x as high as a regular free trial. If I'm a CFO, that credit card required trial starts looking extremely attractive. And while growth teams are going to say, we want as many users as possible, I think a lot of CFOs are going to say, have we tested requiring a trial? Because we could be leaving a lot of money on the table.
Overheard in New York City last week, Kyle. Just put it on the Brex card.
And then make them opt out later.
So is there like a global takeaway for listeners from this survey, or do those data points have like a, well, it depends based on your business model or the product you're selling?
First off, there's no such thing as like normal conversion. There's a huge range. And so based on where you are, you might have actually a lot of opportunity to improve your conversion from where it is today. And so don't settle for like 2 or 3% conversion and think that you could just get like 1 point higher. You can actually get much higher than that. The other kind of global takeaway is that this is about what you're optimizing for. And so don't just copy someone's pricing model just because, hey, you see a bunch of companies in your space have a free trial or have freemium and you're like, we need to do the same thing. Really understand the objectives of what people are focused on. So if you're optimizing for revenue and conversions, credit card gated free trial looks quite attractive. If you're optimizing for acquisition and just having users try your product, the ungated freemium experience is best. Those are like the complete polar opposite things, but based on what you're optimizing for, that might take you in one of the two directions.
Reflecting on it live, I think there are kind of seasons in any company's life cycle where you're optimizing for something different, right? If you're coming out of the gates and you have an MVP product, or let's say you're extremely well funded and it's a land grab moment, you may not be like, hey, we have to monetize everybody immediately. But you may be a later stage company, you've hit your stride and your product is fully baked, and that's where you're trying to turn these trials into dollars.
Now it's time for our segment, potentially reliable thing that one of us read at 2 a.m. So our sleepiest guy today, it's CJ.
I got a chart for you. From what I can tell, guys, there are no axes crimes here. It's just depressing. It's StackOverflow, the number of questions being asked. And because of ChatGPT and AI, it's like been basically just been deleted from the internet.
Ooh, that is not a pretty chart. For folks that might, be listening to this instead of watching it, it does kind of look like a normal distribution, just with the center of that distribution being like 2016 to 2018.
Just true carnage. It was going up, 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 and then you just saw like these 8 EKGs at the top, and then they're like, nah.
Next up, we've got a business blunder from King Blunder himself. Not that he makes any blunders, Kyle.
Oh, I make plenty of blunders. CJ, you know how big Apple is in terms of revenue?
I'm trying to check, but the size of the ads on TechCrunch when you click these articles, it's unbearable. The only site worse than TechCrunch to read something on is Forbes. Like you literally can't even make out any letters without like a video popping up, and it's
yeah.
They're trying to sell you a Chevy. It's like, I just want to read this. Sorry. Apple's like, was it like 2 trillion? Something like that?
Well, this TechCrunch article has it as 143.8 billion in revenue. Tim Cook, who's also been called Tim Apple, he was asked a question in the quarterly earnings call. Pretty normal question that I'd think an analyst would ask. It was, hey, you've got a bunch of AI initiatives going on. These have costs associated with them. Your competitors are integrating AI into their devices too. So how do you monetize AI? What do you think the answer was?
I bet he had like 6 great examples at the ready.
So this TechCrunch headline literally says, guys, I don't think Tim Cook knows how to monetize AI, which like he's not alone. But his answer that they quoted was, well, let me just say that we're bringing intelligence to more of what people love, and we're integrating it across the operating system in a personal and private way. And I think that by doing so, it creates great value, and that opens up a range of opportunities across our products and services. That is word salad and no pricing strategy, if you ask me.
It's the Ricky Bobby gif, like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
His PR people must be like, what the
PR people probably gave him that answer.
You didn't see that question coming.
We are very much in the early innings of monetizing AI, and I wish I could say that they were an outlier. I don't think they are.
Well, we'll have to stick around to find out.
Mostly Growth is a Mostly Media production. Executive produced by Ben Hillman. That's me. Additional production by Steve Sarasoli. Nothing said on this podcast is intended to be business or investment advice. It's the sole opinion of CJ, Kyle, and Ben. Just some guys who love talking growth. Mostly. If you like this podcast, hit subscribe and give us 5 stars. It'll only take like 2 seconds and our algorithm overlords love it. Drink water, call your mom, and have a good day.